So I put them in the freezer just long enough for it to set up, so my fingers don't make any fingerprints in it. Now we're gonna do the exact same thing, except we're gonna do it a little bit thicker so that the cake doesn't show through.
That icing is very soft.
It is very soft. It's actually set up a little bit more from when we did the crumb coat. If it's too soft to work with, you can put it in the refrigerator, but I wouldn't leave it. I would check it in like 10 minutes. Because if it gets too hard, you're going to have to start the whole process over. It definitely walks a fine line of it can be in the refrigerator, it can't be in the refrigerator. It's soft, it's not, it's too soft, it's not soft enough, it's where the art of cooking comes in versus this is what the recipe says, and it definitely comes down to a lot of practice.
How long were you at the cruise line? Just 1 year?
No, I was there for 4 months. And that was definitely, I guess my entire contract was 5 months. I had, they have 5 weeks of training you have to go through before you can be on the ship. You have to be Coast Guard certified, CDA certified. There's like 12 different certifications that you have 5 weeks to go through, plus all of the training to work in the different locations on the cruise ships.
So do they have a hard time keeping people in the culinary field?
Sometimes. And like, I worked for Norwegian Cruise Lines America, so it was a national fleet, not an international fleet. And the difference being, you know, I got paid overtime over 40 hours and, you know, all the usual U.S. labor laws, where international fleets don't have to adhere to that.
Where most of your servers from Malaysia and different places though, because when we took a Norwegian cruise, that's where most of them were from.
Most of ours were from Guam. I met some really cool people from there. You know, my ex-husband was actually a bartender, and he was born a block away from Waikiki Beach and raised on the Big Island.
That's a big culture shock to go from that to Wyoming.
Yes.
That's
Well,
huge.
and
You
that's
even talked to them.
like all the people that I met while I was working on the cruise ship, I was the only one from Wyoming.
Oh, imagine that.
But I was actually used to it because I had also worked at the Hilton in Phoenix, where I was the only one from Wyoming. Luckily there I had somebody from Montana. So we kind of became the pair of,
Western girls.
no, it was actually guys, so it was, they couldn't understand why I thought I could walk to my car by myself at 2 o'clock in the morning. They never did let me.
The addition of the turntable makes it
Yeah.
so much easier.
That's, and actually most cake decorators I know, they have like those non-slip counter things. I don't use them.
Contact paper mixing.
Yeah. I don't like them. I don't use them. Mostly because I usually pick my cake up about 12 times and look at the sides of it. Yeah, it's the make it worse, make it better, know when enough is enough. Because I would normally stand at a cake like this for hours. Be like, okay, this is right, this isn't right, more icing here, less icing there. For this one, we're gonna leave it like this because all the cake is covered. It's all pretty smooth. And then, I don't know, what kind of decoration do you want on it, Justin?
Show me just like an easy shell.
Like an easy shell?
Code of the West.
No, go to the west.
Go to the west.
Very dark.
No, I don't think so, not today.
So you're putting that in before you add, oh, because you're not gonna add color.
Because I'm not gonna add any color to it.
Normally you would mix it with your color before you put it in your bag, right? Unless you were trying to
Absolutely.
do the striations.
Yep.
Okay.
And actually, if I'm doing striations, there's no doubt I'm using a disposable bag. Because it's going in the garbage.
And are you, because I've seen two ways of bagging. One
Mhm.
where you put directly in the bag.
Yep.
The other one is actually where you bag it and then put that bag into a bag. When I worked at the cookie store for a summer, that they do a bag in a
A
bag.
double bag.
A double bag situation.
And that's usually, especially when you're working with like buttercream, it keeps it colder.
Well, and they were also able to change colors out for different tips then, that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we
Well,
did
that's a matter of, I can change all the tips on here.
Right, no, but they, I think it was just faster, because they had writing tips and different things, and that way they would just pull out their bag of color and put it in a different bag.
Yeah,
It was kind of weird.
that is kind of weird. Cause like I can pull this is called a coupler on the end, and I can pull that off and switch out the tips and it's done. I have to change the,
Right,
or I have to
Right.
wash the tips all the time because.
just like we normally would.
Yeah. I've seen people use the double bags and it's usually, especially with like this buttercream icing, if it gets too hot, you're gonna have a melty mess. But with the double bag, like even the temperature of your hand, that double bag's gonna reduce that.
Oh, so that you think that maybe,
I think that's usually more the reason for that than anything. I have not used those yet. I saw them and I thought about trying them and I just haven't gotten to it. But like I said, I spent all summer in a sling and I've only been out of it for about a month now. So I haven't been doing a ton of decorating. But this is usually when I'm Justin will send everybody away from me in the kitchen when I go to decorate stuff. Like just leave her alone.